Hello guys, welcome to TMX Adventures. Lisa here. Hey, today I'm going to continue on with our batch cooking. Now, one of these recipes here called Holiday Brisket is extremely highly rated on Cookie Do. It's got 5 stars and there's 2 recipes there and both have 5 stars. How cool is that when something is just so amazing that everybody agrees with it? So anyway, today I'm going to show you this recipe. I am changing it a little bit, okay? Just to do it the way we do it. But I'm going to talk you through what we're doing. And yes, I'm doing a massive batch because when we do brisket, we do a big one so that it serves us over a couple of days. Okay, now for you, you may buy a normal size brisket, not a I don't know what was ours, 5 kilo brisket. And that's okay. You can still use this recipe. And if you've got leftover marinade sauce, then by all means, you can put it away in the fridge or freezer for another time, which is, one of the perks of the Thermomix. You can cook once and eat multiple times, right? And it doesn't have to be the same every single time you eat. All right, so come with me today. I'm going to tell you how I'm changing this recipe up a little bit. Hopefully this will give you ideas about how you can use guided recipes in the way you might want to use them a little differently, and even things like how to store them and stuff. But as I said, this tomorrow will become dinner and become sliced up meat, or actually it's pull apart meat. It's absolutely divine. Like if you guys liked that lamb from a couple of weeks ago, those of you who tried it, I've got photos. Customers, you guys have sent me photos and went, oh my gosh, that is phenomenal. Where's this been? This is like the beef version. Oh, and my vegetarian friends, I'm sorry. There's 4 recipes for you on the batch cooking download, okay? So I haven't completely forgotten you, but this today is a obviously meat one. So anyway, come with me today. We're going to actually use this as a base recipe to create a marinade. This marinade could be used on other things, not just on brisket. It could be beef, or it could be a lamb, or it could be even, you could do other things with it with pork and things like that. Even chicken, I reckon it'd be beautiful. So I'm going to actually scroll down in this recipe and I'm going to skip the first bit. So actually what they do, by the way, there's 2 recipes on Cookie Do. I've incidentally put the US one up with ounces. I feel like the second one might be in grams. So just have a look at that. And if you can't find the ounces one, let me know and I'll help you get your filters sorted so you've got more recipes to choose from, okay? So they normally preheat their oven to 300, which for us is 150 here in Australia. Say hi if you're watching on today, guys, as well. Okay, make sure you engage in some way so that this appears in your newsfeed. And hi to those of you on YouTube on replay all over the world. I love to know that you're watching and getting inspired for your Thermomix. So you rinse your brisket, pat dry with paper towels and rub it with some salt and pepper. Then they want you to sear it off in a fry pan over medium heat to brown it per side. Okay, and then they want you to put in the Thermomix a carrot, celery, onion, and you chop it for 4 seconds, speed 4. Okay, now you're making something to go in around the brisket to cook it. Okay, that's what you're actually doing here. Then they want you to put 12 ounces of water, which is approximately 360 grams, okay, and some beef stock. And this is actually where I'm picking up. I'm going to pick up and I'm going to make this as a marinade and I'm going to put it all over my meat. So that's actually where I'm about to start, okay? And it puts these beautiful things together that we're going to do in a second. And then you normally pour that over your brisket and your veggies and you'd cover it with foil and you cook it for 4.5 hours. Now, brisket is tough. Okay, this is a tough meat. You could, as I said, you could use any tough meat. You could be using like chuck. You could use a tender meat like rump if you want, or maybe you've got a tough bit of rump. It doesn't have to be just this. But just like the lamb, you cover it and you cook it at that low 150 degrees for 4.5 to 5 hours, okay, until the internal temperature reaches 200. Now, if you've got a sensor, this is going to help you dramatically in this recipe because you'll be able to figure out your internal temperature, because my chunk of meat that's 5 kilos back here is going to take longer than your chunk of meat that might be 2 kilos, because it might just be you're making enough for tonight and tomorrow for you and your other half. So then they say let it cool, okay, in the fridge overnight, or at least 20 to 30 minutes before refrigerating, okay? Then they're saying when you're ready to serve it, you're actually going to get it out and you're going to reheat it, but you're kind of cooking it again. It's got 350 degrees, which for us is about 180, for 45 to 60 minutes until the tenderness is achieved. And this is where it's that pull apart, amazing. You go out and buy this out, okay? And you can do it from the comfort of your home for cheaper. How cool is that? So let me show you today though how I'm using this recipe. I'm going to change it a little bit because my plan is to marinate this beautiful brisket. It's then going to go in the smoker tomorrow. It will actually smoke for a couple of hours in our smoker instead of the oven. But if you follow this recipe, guys, you will not be disappointed because all these people have said it's worth 5 stars, okay? So give that a go as it is. I'm going to show you how you can change it a little bit, okay? So ours will go in the smoker, and we do what's called a dry smoke to start off with, where it actually creates a bark on your meat. So you end up with a pinkness around the whole meat, which is flavor infused with what's on the outside, which will be this beautiful marinade, okay? It will infuse in. Then we cover it. And we add some, this is when I'll pick up with the celery and the carrot and the onion and the stock and the liquid, and you what we call boat it, okay? And that then creates that beautiful humid environment where it's going to cook off, it's not going to go dry, and it's going to be deliciously pull apart, okay? So let's get to there. By the way, if you have a TM6, scroll down and you can start at that step. And we're going to come to this step with the marinade. Now, I'm not putting all that water in because the water will go into mine at that point of boating, okay? So I'm going to skip the water step, but I'm going to start with the stock paste. I don't have beef, I've got chicken. We've talked about stock paste before, and I'm going to tell you again, if you're not making your own, you are missing out. Okay, grab the ingredients, and if there's something you don't like in the list or it's too expensive at the moment, skip it out. Okay, if zucchinis are too expensive, leave it out, put more celery. With your celery, freeze your leaves, save them for next time. I had someone reach out through the week and say, hey, I've got the greens of my leeks, what do I use it for? Chop them up, chuck them in the freezer, put them in your next batch of stock, okay? And please don't go out and buy all the herbs. Just either use dry or what you've got. Okay, so it says 2 teaspoons. Don't go crazy, okay? We don't want it too salty. All right, there was a spoon in there already for me. 1, 2, there we go, 2 teaspoons, that's about right. I think I'm Nelly due for a new batch of stock. Remember when you get to the bottom of your stock jar, add some water, shake it up, and then you got your liquid stock. Just be choosy in what recipe you use it in, but that's how you get, use all the rest. It says brown sugar. I've just got white sugar. I'm going to use what I've got. Don't know if I've got enough. Might be a little short. That's okay. And because it's so highly rated, I'm not actually going to skimp on the sugar and stuff, okay? I'm going to do what they said, 1 ounce, but yeah, 0.1 of an ounce. But no, I'm going to do what they say because it can't go wrong when it's highly rated like that. 1/2 ounce of Worcestershire sauce. There is a recipe on Cookie Do for Worcestershire sauce if you'd like to take the time to make your own. We use it so frequently that it's been a long time. I think I made it probably back in 2020, but it's been a long time. But as I said, we barely use it. Okay, 2 ounces of balsamic or 2 ounces of red wine vinegar. I've got red wine vinegar. Either will work. How good is scales? This never gets old. The fact that you can put it in. You're not using measuring cups. They're not getting dirty. You don't have to wash them up. Things like that. I love it. By the way, there's no oil in this recipe. How cool is that? Okay, tomato paste, 1.5 ounces. So in this goes. We are coming into tomato season, so I'm excited to start making my own tomato paste again, which is super cool. Okay, next, tamari. If you don't have tamari, use just soy sauce. Okay, just be mindful if it's a dark soy sauce, it may be strong, so maybe go half, because when I say strong, it's going to be salty. Soy sauce is salty, and when you've got the stock in there and now the soy sauce, you just don't want to go too much. And tomato paste by nature's got a bit of saltiness to it, not because they add salt, but because it just cooks down and condenses. Okay, 1 teaspoon of paprika. All right. I don't have a spoon. Oh, I've got a spatula. With your paprika, there is smoky and there is, I'm going to put a little bit more in. We do like paprika. There is a smoky and there is a sweet. Just whichever. There's no right or wrong there, okay? My family like the sweet, but there's times when we end up with the other one. Just use what you've got. All right, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. You could put like a couple of cloves in this. Generally we dry rub things. I'm just looking at how much. So generally when we do use a smoker, it's a dry rub. By the way, there's a whole smoker series on my blog. So if you go scan the QR code and go to TMXing Adventures, you will actually be able to download the smoker combo where I showed you recipes. We even did a couple of dessert recipes on that, where I showed you how we use a Thermomix to complement the smoker. So if you're interested in that, it's over there. But yeah, we generally dry rub things, okay? Not marinate them, but I wanted to show you this recipe. Okay, my family don't appreciate chili. We're going to use a little bit of Kashmiri chili, which is quite a mild, very flavoursome chili. I believe it's made with capsicums. It's not hot. Okay, it just gives a really nice broad flavour to it. So I'm going to just use a whisker of that today. You could use, like if you like chili, go for it. You can use 1/4 teaspoon. It won't be too hot because it is mild. We use this tandoori paste. Tandoori paste is what you'll buy the Kashmiri for. Okay, and by the way, it didn't say that it's a dried chili, but my family will not love me for that. Okay, on with the lid. Let's make our marinade. Okay, next. It's got 10 seconds to be full. Let's do this. And then we're going to finish up. So I'm going to just be putting this all over my meat. I'm going to cover my meat and it's going to go in the fridge. Okay? Till tomorrow morning. It'll then probably go in the smoker and smoke most of the day, which is lovely. All right, wait for these arms. Let's have a look at this marinade. Oh, yum. It smells amazing. I love it when you open your Thermomix and you get that feedback from it, that smell, and you just know it's going to be amazing. All right, so what I've got back here on my rose gold tray is the biggest monster of brisket I've ever seen. Okay, it was marked down at the local IGA. Generally, I buy my beef locally, and I mean the IGA is local too, but from a farmer down the road. That's a mother and 2 daughter team, and they're normal size briskets. This one's a mammoth one, but that's okay because it's about, as I said, making things once that you can repurpose. So for this, it will become nachos probably over the weekend, or tacos, or shepherd's pie, or things like that. So we will, yes, the first night will be beautiful, pulled with, when I say first night, this is tomorrow night. I'll steam probably some corn and we've got broccoli and cauliflower coming in from the veggie patch at the moment, and snow peas. So they'll get steamed in the Thermomix, and this will be resting, because part of the important thing with meat is actually resting it afterwards. The longer you rest it, the more what draws that moisture inside. Otherwise, when you cut it, it will look dry. It kind of loses that humidity, comes out of it and it dries out. And so we'll be having that resting, and I will steam in the Thermomix these beautiful veggies to serve with it. But yeah, after that, it will then get sliced. If it's sliceable, sometimes it's pull apartable, and then it becomes repurposed into things. I can nearly guarantee the kids will probably make some pastry over the weekend and turn it into pies. They really love making some puff pastry, short crust, and using that in the pie maker to create that. So there's lots of ways that, do it once and it then can be recreated into brand new things. You can completely just vacuum seal this. And I talked about this on the lamb. So I'll try and link the lamb somewhere at the end, or go have a look for it. In that recipe, I showed you how to vacuum seal the lamb, and then talked about you use sous vide to actually reheat that back to the texture it was when you sucked it in. And that is just phenomenal. Like, no one would know. And often if you go to a large scale event where they're going to be serving you something like brisket or pulled lamb, they've actually pre-cooked it and they've vacuum sealed it, and they literally put it in boiling water and bringing it back that way before they serve it up for you. Those large scale catering events. So that's how they do it. Pretty fancy, hey? Well, kind of, when you know how. Anyway, that's it from me today. If I can help you with anything with your Thermomix, I'm just going to be pouring this over and then covering it up and putting it back in the fridge, by the way, until tomorrow. I'll take some photos. You won't see a final product of this until over the weekend or early next week, because obviously it's got to marinate. But yeah, if you've got any questions with your Thermomix, don't be a stranger, reach out. I love to hear from you. I love to know what you're making. I love to see what you're making. Like those of you who reached out with your lamb photos, I was just blown away. It just makes my heart happy to know you're loving your Thermomix and it's serving you well. It's giving you back time. It's giving you, you know, freedom. It's giving you fun in the kitchen. Like I know sometimes it can be a bore to do the same thing over and over again. And with the Thermomix, it doesn't have to be boring. That's what I love. Like I've not done this recipe like this before. And I was like, how can I do this in a way that kind of suits what we want to do over the weekend? And so I hope this gives you confidence so that when you want to do something a little different, you're like, oh, I saw Lisa do this. I think I can do something similar. Okay, so that's what really my hope is for you. Anyway, I'll leave it there. If I can help you in any way with your Thermomix, reach out. And remember, if you're not a subscriber over at TMX Adventures, jump over there. I do have a newsletter. Probably come out early next week. The weekend has booked up very quickly with some online demos, which I'm super excited about. Jumping online and a couple of cutter demos. People want to see how the cutter works and make a decision on whether that's something they want. An awesome attachment with the Thermomix and answer those questions. Those of you who've got a cutter already from me, you would have actually got an ebook from me, an email. Just, if you haven't, check your junk mail. Sometimes my emails go to junk. Just with my favorite recipes I use and some hints and tips and stuff. So do check that out. Same with the blade cover peeler. There's one of those. If you've ever bought one of them, there's an email in your inbox for that as well. If you haven't got it, reach out. I'll give it to you, okay? Otherwise, guys, have a fantastic rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. I can't wait to come to you with some more recipes soon, helping you get more out of your TM6 Thermomix or your TM5 or 31, because you guys can do this too. Okay, so, and you can use these videos to cook along. Actually, I know a lot of you do. So take care, and I'll see you in the next video soon. Bye for now.